Hello, ladies and gentlemen. You are watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California in the United States. That gentleman out there is.
Hi everyone, I'm Felipe and I'm in Essex, UK.
Yeah, boy, it's the end of his day and it's just the beginning of mine, actually, because I'm a late riser. Felipe and I today, we have been um, let's put it this way. We're very fortunate to be able to get what we're going to dissect today. We were able to secure a sample of Año de los Muertos. Now, if you're wondering where this is an agave spirit from South Africa. And these are very difficult to come by. If you're looking at it from the screen here, it is a Reposado. We checked offline to see if there was even more information. We did not receive any more information, and I don't recall getting any even during our back and forth emails. By the way, I got a really a shout out to Kindred Spirits for making this happen. They have moved heaven and earth to get my samples to me. You folks have no idea what a struggle it was to get this, and I have a backup bottle. So yeah, we don't normally do minis, but when it comes to, it's coming across the world, when it's global like this, we're gonna take the sample. We're just gonna break open the seal. We have it. I mean, it's been sitting on my living room floor, and I want to make sure I can. Yeah, we're breaking the seal on camera. Okay. I'm gonna pour mine in a Stasel Jarrito for that we normally use for mezcal. This is, I believe, a 46. Oh, look at the bubbles. I got bubbles, man. Check that out. You know how I love bubbles. I love perlas. I believe this is a 46 ABV, I think, is what it says on the label. And it was bottled, if I'm not mistaken, the end of July of 2021. It is 43 ABV.
So I think I've got the same date, haven't I? As you, 27th.
Yeah. You and I
27th July.
You and I have the same batches. These are very lightly aged. Again, we're flying blind because even their website gives very minimal information. We know it's agave spirit from the Karoo, which would be Agave Americana, which grows all over South Africa. It's got some decent likes and tears, man.
It's all right, isn't it? Do you know, in the bottle, it looked clear to me. I think I said to you beforehand, I thought it was more of a Blanco, but now I've got it up against the light in a glass. It's got quite a nice, subtle colour to it.
Yeah.
I don't know how well it's coming out on the camera, but from where I am, it's almost like an apple juice kind of color.
Yeah, kind of like a pale straw or pale gold. I probably would even say it was that deep, but leads me to believe that they're calling this a reposado, and they on their website they explain what the Mexican version of reposado is. So it's 3 months to up to 1 year. But I would say these barrels are probably old. They're distressed barrels, they've been reused. And of course the Kindred Spirits makes other spirits, gin naturally, and probably a whiskey as well. But the legs and tears on this thing look really decent.
If you can get any through on that, it's actually.
Yeah, I'm
pouring down.
I'm not a measure of quality, but at least we know what kind of mouthfeel we're in for.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
that's an interesting one, isn't it?
That's really vegetal right there. Wow.
I wasn't expecting that.
No, me neither. I mean, literally we just broke the seal on camera. They've been sitting on my living room floor for a couple of months now, and it took several weeks to get my samples. Felipe got his easily. Wow, this thing is full of nose.
There's a hint of menthol, I think.
I'm getting more of a pepper or mustard seed. It's gamey. I'm not getting any wood notes per se. I'm getting a lot of plant. There's certainly some alcohol at the bottom. I mean, some healthy, alcohol, which is expected. I mean, it's been sealed in my living room floor at room temp for weeks.
It passes on the back of the nose quite easily, doesn't it? So
Yeah, it's a really pleasant vegetal plant-like smell, but it's not something that we have a bar for as far as mezcal, for instance. And we don't know what their process is. We don't know if they're autoclaving this. We don't know if it's pit roasted. I would say it's probably an autoclave, or I don't know until I taste it. Maybe baked oven. I could be. I don't know. Or oven baked. I'm sorry.
I quite like that. That's a really nice, clean smell. That.
Yeah, it's asparagus. It's vegetal. It's gamey. I like it. I mean, it keeps evolving, obviously, as it opens up in the glass. I mean, it's been sealed since July of last year, so and it's almost July a year later when we're getting to this. So, but yeah, it's free of anything suspicious.
There's no smoke in it either. It's quite a fresh.
I think I'm finally getting a little bit of the wood notes, but just to the size of the glass. I mean, it's still evolving in the glass. It literally needs to air itself out. I mean, it's traveled quite a distance to me, well, even to Felipe for that matter.
Getting some color, an earth almost.
Yeah,
I want to say mud, but mud would indicate dirt. But
well,
it's a very clean and fresh, but like like if you've had a tropical storm and it's opened up the worms are coming out up your lawn.
yeah.
That kind of a.
Well, we had that with the Selva Negra. It was a different type of agave spirit, and the smell was very, very forest like. It was that whole different, because it was a whole different animal. This one, I got the mustard seed. There's a little bit of pepper, maybe black pepper, cracked pepper of some sort in there. There's a really pleasant spiciness that I can't place. I'm calling it mustard seed because it reminds me of mustards, but it could be fresher. And certainly it's dense. It's not, it's substantial.
We'll find that they've used something native to South Africa. With the black snake, it was the eucalyptus. We spent ages trying to figure out what it was, and it was the eucalyptus they cooked
eucalyptus, yeah. It's making me hungry. It's like it's giving me the munchies. It's weird. I mean, it's almost akin to sotol. You and I have had a couple of sotols, that were available in Europe, and sotol does that for me. It just opens up your appetite, and it's terrible to drink in the middle of the night because all you want to do is eat, and it kind of gets in the way of that. If you're doing any interval, what's the term? Where you're not eating certain hours of the day. That's
like a intermittent fasting.
Yeah, intermittent fasting. It's terrible for intermittent fasters because middle of the night, it just all you want to do is eat something.
I'm getting some leather out of this now.
So good, because that would mean that the wood notes, whatever char there was, is bringing that out.
Yeah.
We could spend 20 minutes just getting on the nose. It's just It's really inviting though. It's pleasant. It's not off-putting at all.
No, I want to start drinking it. I'm too
But
busy. I'm
hey,
too busy
well,
sticking my nose in
yeah, I
it.
know. I know. Well, hell, let's dive in. Let's see if it opens up a little bit more, shall we? Here we go.
Let's see.
Mm, 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 mm.
Oh, that's clean, isn't it?
That's good. Wow. There's pepper, but not the kind of pepper explosion I look for.
No,
A little bit of underlying sweetness. It's very savory too. You notice that?
it's like I can only think of you know when you have bubble gum, that's the popping candy.
Yeah.
It kind of creates this whole sensation on the bottom.
Yeah, that's like and it's almost like a cinnamon spice,
Mm.
instead of the pepper, some blancos will have that pepper explosion, and you go into the reposado and the pepper turns into cinnamon. That's what that would be from the barrel. And but then it's savory and it's got great lip and gum numbness.
Yeah, this is good.
This is really good. Wow, man. What a finish, too. It finishes like it's at a much higher ABV than what it is. That's a warm, long, warm finish.
It's not. I don't find it very alcoholic. Like you've got the alcohol there, but it's not. It's not a hit. It's just.
It's flavorful. It takes all the elements into account.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's kind of, I get elements of a mezcal, but I also get the way it behaves like a tequila.
I'd say this is more tequila than a mezcal. I think on that side of it.
Yeah, it leans more.
It's not.
Yes.
It isn't. It isn't particularly smoky.
No, not at all. If there was any kind of smoke or char, you were tasting, you were getting some leather. I would say that was from the char of the wood notes from barrel they were using.
There's an underlying hint of something. It's the pepper goes. The aftertaste is very. There's a sweetness to it.
Yeah, there is a sweetness to it. You're right.
But a sweetness that you get with a savory. Or the pepper and the sweetness is that's a really good balance.
Mm. 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 You hear me doing that, folks. If you're listening to us on the podcast, I'm doing what they call a retro nasal. I'm trying to recreate more of the alcoholic molecules to go behind the back of my neck, back into my nose, so I can retaste what I just had, because sometimes you get subtleties and notes that you miss as you swallow. So if you hear me, it's kind of like clearing the throat. It's a valid technique. It's called retronasal. And I remember that the Selva Negra that we did had a very pleasant retronasal. There were elements that were coming back that we missed as on the intake. And this one, it's almost got like a fibrousness, like a plant fiber. It's almost as if, I don't know how they ferment. It's almost as if they are fermented with some fibers, in the fermentation tank. I'm not sure. I don't know. I wish they would. I would love to know more about their process, because it's savory, and then on the retronasal, the sweetness you were mentioning comes through again.
There is almost like on a sip, the peppery side of it sometimes almost goes into a very, very into a chili. It's like that.
Yeah.
You get that sensation, but you don't get the heat and the burn. It's almost, you get a ghost of it on the palate.
There's a ghost pepper tequila that we've had that's made with ghost pepper, and it's so well done. The ghost pepper is one of the hottest peppers in the world. but they've got it in this tequila, in Ghost Tequila, and it's done so well that it's very similar to what you mentioned. You get the spiciness, but you don't get that overwhelming heat that that you feel come across the top of your head.
I used to drink chili vodka. It used to come with a chaser of a pint of water. Didn't work. It really didn't work, that water.
No, that's like the water's like the last thing in there. I'm very impressed.
Good.
This is the mouthfeel really does the trick for me. It's savory, it's cinnamony, peppery. The nose is fantastic. That first initial whiff,
Yeah,
all plant, all of it.
the more excuse me, the more that you have, your mouth gets more coated with it. The sweetness seems to become a bit more predominant. It's almost a honey to it.
Yeah,
it's like I've had a spoonful of honey on my lips.
That's exactly where I was headed. I feel it on the sides of my tongue, and it's starting to creep up and to coat the palate. And I the only thing I can attribute that to is maybe some more barrel notes. This is
I'm very impressed with this.
Yeah, me too. You guys are onto something at Kindred Spirits.
Tell us more.
Hey, I'm just going to go right now on a limb for Brand of Promise nominee because, this is it's substantial. It's got great structure. Mouthfeel is impressive. It gives you, like Felipe said, it leans toward tequila, but there are some mezcal elements that I've been able to pull out. The plant if this were a tequila, we would never taste that much plant in the final product.
It's when you take it in, it's tequila when you take it in, but when you swallow it, it turns to mezcal.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly.
That's it.
It.
It's not a heavy smoke. It's nothing like that. It's a very nice, smooth, subtle.
And again, it reminds me a lot of Sotol. I used to say Sotol was the best of both worlds, where you have a little bit, it's like the best of tequila and the best of mezcal, but it's a whole other animal. I would put this right there. I had to go pour myself some more because thankfully
I opened the second one up.
Yeah. This is and be prepared, folks, because it's going to open up your appetite. I know it's gonna. This is like a Sotol for me, and it very even the nose. You mentioned earth, and to me that's the terroir where they harvested this plant. I don't know how old it was. We don't know, but chances are it's been in the ground. Agave Americana could have been 8, could have been 9 years, could have been 5 to 8, could have been 10. I don't know. It tastes gamier. When I say game meat, I say, the difference between free range chicken and pheasant, or Cornish game hen versus, what I mean? It's gamey. And I think that's there's a lot of character in this plant. But I want to know more about your process, Kindred Spirits. This is, there's so much character in it.
Yeah, don't be so elusive.
I know, huh?
Let us know some more.
Yeah. Well, it's a complete 180 from anything that we've had, like from Australia or New Zealand. That was, glacier water. That was ethereal, but this is really down to earth and literally down to earth.
It's the other ones, like the Australian and New Zealand. They weren't trying to make a tequila or a tequila-like thing. It's like, we're here and this is what we've done with this plant. I don't know what their intents and purposes are for this, but they've come close. I mean, like if the stuff from Germany we had, you know it's not tequila or mezcal. It's
Right.
something else.
Well, it's a
We've
whole.
had
It was
them.
a whole other plant. Also, it was
Yeah.
Siciliana, or no,
This is
Siciliana or Salmiana. It was Salmiana, I think.
this one they've taken. It feels like they've gone to a liquor store, bought 20 bottles of different brands, found a common thread, and said, "Okay, this is what we've got. How can we make something taste like that?" And I mean, that's it. This is great. It might not have been. They might have just this might be the taste of South Africa, but it is so. If it is, it's so close.
Well, we have been on the short list to receive Leonista, which you folks may have seen on Instagram. Follow them. They are they were the first agave spirit coming from South Africa, and then any micro distiller that is in South Africa doing any kind of agave spirit has tried to emulate. But they have there's a young lady who runs that, Sarah, I believe is her first name. She runs that company, and we have been begging to get samples of Leonista. I understand that I've been able, through my connections, as soon as permits are available, we will have those samples delivered to us. We've been after her we wrote about her, as a matter of fact, in my book, Agave Spirits Around the World. Her story, she's been featured in that book. Go pick it up if you haven't seen it. You can find that book on Amazon, on our website. We self-publish everything on Amazon. It's a great primer for agave spirits all over the world. And I'm so happy that we finally got one from South Africa. I have been chasing South African agave spirits for so long.
You know how when you make caramel, you stick a load of sugar in the pan, and it's like, this is the second sample I've got here. It's almost like they've dumped a load of honey in the pan, boiled it up, and then put a load of black pepper in on top. That's how it is. It's got that sweet, but there's this really nice, neither sweet nor savory is overbearing. It's just straight down the center.
It's very well balanced, and this has got to be a very difficult plant to work with. Especially, I would imagine that Kindred Spirits, of the people who are involved in that partnership and that company, have had experiences in Mexico. I know that they've traveled there, they've experimented, they've done their research, and then brought that information back to their country, which is what Sarah has done with Leonista, and they're making it their own. I'm so impressed. Wow, and the nose, the nose is not as sweet. It's very vegetal and earthy. And that's okay, because every plant so far that we've had, from whether it's agave spirit from India or New Zealand or Australia, now South Africa, Germany, they're really different. Each one of those plants has its own characteristic. And
it's so good.
Yeah, and you're warming up the liquid. I try not to hold the bowl from the bowl, but obviously, if this glass allowed the jarrito, which is what we use, allows you to be a little bit more intimate with your beverage. And if you hold it by the bowl, you start to warm up the liquid. So I'm sensing that you're releasing a lot more of the molecules there, which you do that with any aged spirit, with a cognac snifter or rum or whiskey. If you hold it by the bowl of anything, you're going to heat up that liquid. It's going to release a little bit more of the aromas. That's a little inside baseball for those of you who are inside cricket. For those of you in the UK,
cricket is one of those things. It's so English. I would like to like it, but it's just so boring. It needs to be. If they made it a contact sport, I would sign up to it.
Well, that's what they say about baseball. But I love baseball. So, but you're a football guy. So, I mean, literally NFL football. This is the guy. That's the guy who stays up in the middle of the night to watch a Raiders game.
Yeah, well, you know,
Yeah,
40 years,
the more
40 years,
passes
man.
the more passes you take, the sweeter it becomes.
It's just, it's so intriguing. And I didn't expect anything. There was no, the fact they're so elusive with who they are and how it's done meant that you have to warrant it entirely on what's in the glass.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I
you
wasn't
know,
expecting anything. Like, I can't say I wasn't expecting this, because I wasn't expecting anything, but it's certainly surprised me. Put it that way. You know, when we've
yeah,
had other stuff and they give you all the literature with it, you can go, you have this bias come in your head. Okay, it's going to be a little bit like this, which is good, because then you know about it, because it's always nice to know. But this is completely blind taste.
yes.
I
And
mean, when all you've got basically is that.
yeah, that's it. If you go on their website, go on their Instagram at Kindred Spirits or Año de Muertos, and their Año de Muertos Instagram directs you to Kindred Spirits Instagram, and you go on the website. Well, you know, the laws in South Africa are different than they are in the UK, than they are in the United States, as far as transparency and information on the whether on the website or on the label. You know, their labeling laws are different. But I, you know, just judging from 23 years of drinking and
You've only been drinking alcohol for 23 years.
uh, consistently online, yes, and so usually all agave spirits. I mean, this July, Tequila Aficionado begins its 23rd year of drinking online.
Yeah.
We invented it, folks. The pandemic never stopped us. We were doing the same thing we were doing before. Uh, the nice thing is we now have 13 TJs, tequila jockeys, across the US and the UK, obviously. And we're global. So we have that ability to have companies send us stuff, because agave spirits should not just be isolated to Mexico. It grows everywhere. Again, get the book, Agave Spirits Around the World. You'll be surprised. And probably the most interesting section of that is the Agave Spirits, American Agave Spirits. That to me is the most interesting of all of them, because there's such a geopolitical, uh, historical thing involved in Agave Spirits, American Agave Spirits, and that whole thing. I'm still trying to score California agave spirits for us, and I'm having a hard time doing it, because every time the distilleries in Central California make any, it's sold out. I can never get myself on a short list, and they're growing blue agave in Central California. So that, and again, that part is also in the book. So get yourself the book and read up, because you guys are missing out. This is for you agave heads. Oh my God.
This is beautiful. I mean,
Yeah, it's gorgeous. It's gorgeous stuff. I want to know more. Tell
yeah.
us.
I mean, look at the way that's just going on my glass. Just the drops on the top of the glass from that, just holding on.
Yeah, the structure and the legs and tiers. I mean, it's thick, it's vegetal. We said we had a great mouthfeel. Wow. Wow. Kindred Spirits. It's called Año de Muertos, folks. Go, for those of you watching us in the UK, or you're watching us in South Africa, and we do get hits from all over the world, all over the globe. Do yourself a favor. This is a no joke. And you know what, Felipe? This thing has enough character. Obviously, it's going to stand up to any cocktail you put it in. I don't even know. I honestly would put this with a cigar. That's what I would do. But that would be me.
Oh yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. If only I hadn't drunk all of it, I could throw a cigar in with it later on.
Great finish, great mouthfeel. Really, it's outstanding. Outstanding. I have to say, if this is indicative of what can happen in South Africa for a South African agave spirits, I want in.
Yeah.
I want every South African distillery, big, small, or large, get a hold of me, get a hold of us, send us an email. We'll finagle and figure out a way to get some, and we will take smaller samples from overseas until the laws change, and they can change. This has been amazing. This was a treat, man. This was
good.
Very unexpected. I'm so jazzed for you guys. Kindred Spirits, go follow them on Instagram. They have two separate Instagrams. One is Año de Muerto, and the other one is Kindred Spirits, which is the main company. Thank you guys, you folks. I know you moved heaven and earth to get this to me. I so appreciate it. It was so worth the wait. And
yeah, no, well done, guys. Because
I have no idea what a price point is in South Africa, but it's worth every penny. Just give them your money, okay? Give them. I don't know, maybe $2,000. I don't care. Just go buy it.
I'll give you a tank of gas.
Yeah, right. Yeah, a tank of petrol. Yeah, because I don't know what it's going for in the UK and in the rest of the world, but $7 a gallon in Southern California.
$7 a gallon. What's that? So it's about
I don't know what the conversion
£5, 5, 6. You're looking at about £2, just short of £2 a litre here. Actually, if you're doing so, I don't know what litres are to gallons, but it's the most expensive it's been, I think, since before Christ walks.
Yeah, I'm actually car shopping, and I'm looking for hybrids, electric cars, hybrids that are part electric and part gas, because can't fool with until the supply chain gets fixed, or until OPEC loosens up the purse strings, and even then, I'd rather, there's enough pollution to go around. I don't need any more in Southern Cal. I'm sure London's the same way, the UK is the same way, and probably all other parts of the world. It's time to start, looking at agave spirits as a potential biofuel. Okay, because I mentioned that
now I used to siphon petrol from cars, but if they start using agave as fuel.
No, you know what? Here's the thing. When I wrote the book, I learned that they're already doing biofuel using agave in South America. There is a pilot program, literally a pilot program with I forget what is the name of the airline right now, escapes me, in South America, where part of what they're using is biofuel made with agave, and that's the industry. And in California, because we're in a drought, especially Central California, which used to be the breadbasket of the country, there's less and less water to go around. And there's one gentleman who's involved in what we call the Mez California initiative. His main concern is finding a new industry in California where they're growing agave, blue agave, as a biofuel for future biofuel usage. And the secondary and maybe even tertiary industry would be agave spirits. But that's not the main focus. The main focus is to grow agave that requires little water. I mean, it grows in South Africa, for God's sake, and convert it into a biofuel. And they're already doing it in South America. They're doing it successfully. So that's where this is headed, folks. You could be, if you could be self-sustaining with your own biofuel, with something that doesn't require a whole lot of rain and water.
I mean, what are you going to do? You could drink it, or you're going to stick it in your car.
I'm telling you, you could fly your plane with it.
I'm not too sure. I've got BMW if I can pour a bottle of Sotol in the back of it.
Stranger things have happened, but if they're doing it now with biofuel and airplanes and large airlines as a pilot, literally a pilot program, the sky's the limit. Literally, the sky's the limit. So anyway, folks, that's our take on Año de Muertos. Thank you, folks, for making that happen. Kindred Spirits, go follow those folks. Order your bottle if you're in South Africa. Go pay for it right now. Go to your local, we call them liquor stores. I'm not sure what you call them there, but go there, pay for it. Go see the distillery if they. I think they actually have a physical, a brick and mortar distillery. Just pay whatever it's worth because it's really that good. Would stand up to your cocktails. Great with a cigar, I'd say. Thank you, folks, for sending that to us. I so appreciate it. That's our take. I'm Mike Morales here in Southern California. That gentleman out there is.
Hey, I am Felipe from the UK.
You have been watching and listening to Sipping Off the Cuff on Tequila Aficionado Media on all of our channels and networks. Please follow us. If you're watching us on YouTube, please subscribe. If you're listening to us on the podcast, download it wherever you get your podcasts, like iTunes and Spotify. Again, if you're watching us on YouTube, hit the notification bell. Give us a like. If you've had it before, if you're watching us in South Africa or UK, tell us what you're doing with it. Tell us how much you paid for it. What do you think? But whatever you do, tomar sabiamente.
Sip wisely, my friends.